reminder, we are being recorded, so keep it clean. And, so I'll look at the minutes.
And those I emailed to you guys,
Mm-hmm.
again, cause I couldn't print them.
I just had it here. Minutes, okay. Do you all have it
The minutes?
for February 13th?
Yep. You can share if you need it.
Thank you. I think I read them.
You've gone through them, I assume?
Oh, I wrote them,
Or
yes, this afternoon, as you can tell. Quite fresh in my mind.
I have a motion to accept the minutes.
Oh, second.
Third.
Yeah, we're all in favor,
Mhm.
as written, okay.
Done.
Approved as written.
And as far as old business, I guess you wanna talk about the chicken seminar first? As part of the old business, I think it was a success.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, it was a good
Yeah,
group of people.
yes, 12 people showed up, 13 maybe. I thought it was great. I
Yeah.
was very, very impressed that people had good questions and
And people from other towns, I wasn't
yes,
expecting that.
yeah, people from Barry came, which was nice.
Westminster,
Yeah,
yeah. Gardner,
yeah.
it was great.
It was very good. We ordered 8 more chicks.
You did?
Yeah.
This is the first year in 4 years I haven't gained any more chickens.
It's funny, we went from 1 egg, 0 egg, 1 egg, 0 egg, 2 eggs, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 to 10, 10.
Oh, nice.
Is it the weather changing?
It was funny, it.
well, with this last rain, the worms were also out, so they love that too.
Ah, yes.
It- My chickens last year, I think, had the best summer ever. They loved everything that was in my yard. And they're off to a really good start again this year. They're enjoying free range. They're, very active. They doing a good job. Good job being chickens.
Good job, Chance.
Any other old business to talk about?
Brochure,
Yes, so Emma, my little artist, says that she likes it the way it is, and if we put too many pictures in, it will get too crowded for your eye. So she kinda likes it the way it is, and the only thing that we had wanted to do is add chicken photos. So I don't know if you guys are happy the way it is, or I can tell her that we just wanna add one more chicken photo.
I have a copy in my truck, but
pass that around again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had one that I didn't write on, but I must have left it. Must have fallen out. Oh, no, yeah.
Were the cows from Hubbardston? I forget the.
Yes,
Just thinking if there's a picture that's not Hubbardston, then maybe we switch that out, but otherwise,
They are, the town website is now .gov,
oh, okay,
so I'm gonna write that in.
yes, that definitely needs to be
Just
changed.
remove the .us.
Okay, I mean, we can put chickens in,
I think we ought to.
okay,
A lot of folks have chickens.
yes,
Otherwise, this is great.
yeah.
And then give me that one. So, yeah.
Okay,
but probably,
right there,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense, where the
yeah.
vegetables are. Otherwise, I think it looks great.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like the green and I like
Right,
the
for
fonts
growing,
and,
yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
it
and
looks
then,
clean.
when
Thank
you have that all done, then we'll bring it to the town offices to get copies made.
Okay, perfect,
Okay?
yeah.
The only thing I'm seeing on a technical thing is where the folds are into the pictures.
Well, I think that when I just
So-
printed it off of my printer, you know, like I
It's-
downloaded
it's
the
laid
file.
out differently, yeah.
It should take up the whole space, there should not be a white edge around here.
Mhm.
And if you do it so that there's no white edge, the pictures
Everything
line up for
slides.
the folds.
Yep.
Cool.
But this
Makes
was
sense.
just, I didn't wanna professionally print it until we agreed on what we were doing, which is also why they're taped together.
Printing on a computer versus printing.
Right,
at
right.
pages.
So we can,
Yeah, once you
Yeah,
get
so
a,
then
one
I
good
can-
print.
right, right.
Then we can do it,
Sure.
here at the town.
Okay, the town would pay for that?
Or it can come out of our budget,
Okay, Yeah.
whichever way the town wants to do it.
yeah. So that's, I know what you mean with the pictures, but as soon as we shift everything off over
Yeah.
that, like, it's a
That makes
little
sense.
less than a
One of
quarter
those
of an
technical
inch.
things that,
Right,
printing it
yeah.
out like this,
right,
everything's,
right,
you know, the or borders or whatever, yeah.
yeah. So that's, yeah, so we can fix that, for sure. All right, so definitely chickens for Emma, okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
So many folks
Yeah.
have chickens here.
Yeah, definitely.
And everything else, I think is pretty much shown.
Okay.
Any other old business to discuss? Did you happen to go to the Aqueduct?
I did not, no.
I don't know anybody who did off the top of my head. Raising chickens, that was, I guess, separate topic. Move on to the farm accessory.
Okay, so what you have, I passed out is the portions that we changed and modified at the last meeting.
Yep,
Made
okay.
corrections. If you pull out your notes from you had your other copy, to pull out your
I
notes.
keep misplacing mine. I literally go home and I'm like, I'm not gonna lose it this time, and I put it somewhere and then I can't find it again. I do remember us talking about a lot of things, so I wrote some stuff down. The 25.4 through 25.5. About the permits and use provisions. But that doesn't include this, this is just the first part you were saying?
Yes. Yes, and, it's the, basically, if you have the old document, it's kind of the first and second page and then the top. So,
These were the two pages I printed out from what you sent today.
right, yeah, and did I give you a copy of that?
And then here's, you gave the first page. Here's the first page. Two sides of paper.
Okay, I want this back, this was my original, one that I made notes on.
Thank you.
The other year. Okay, so, take a minute and go through it and see if it looks okay to you now. And I wanna thank Mel the town clerk,
Mhm.
Mel the town clerk for, taking, this original document and then making our corrections for
Okay.
us.
Excellent.
Okay, super.
Okay, are we okay with the,
Mhm.
the first
Yeah.
two pages?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright. Then on the, rest of the old document,
Mhm.
before going into 25.4 permit procedures, I think we should go in, so we've gotten, definitions, and then I think use provisions should be next. So I recommend that we go to section 25.5 as, on the old document, and put that in before permitting,
Mhm.
okay?
So basically, change the numbers.
Yep, so go through that, on the uses allowable by right, allowable non-exempt agritourism, and I don't see any problems with any of that wording, which is, 1 through 17. I didn't see any problems with any of the wording on that, do you recall any problems with
What was
wording
that
yourself?
one?
So it's use provisions section.
Use provisions, yep.
Yeah, and it's items 1 through 17 in that whole section.
Okay, so this must be a different copy, so I don't have numbers, I have letters. A, B, C, D.
Okay, let's share that. So I'm going by this one, sorry.
Thought I had the right one this time.
And just as a reminder for myself, Christmas trees is not agriculture, cause it's forestry. that right? Cause it says, except for Christmas, you pick operations except for Christmas trees.
It technically comes under the Department of Forestry, yeah,
I was just trying to remember that, so.
but we can double check that. Maybe.
So we have notes on this particular copy about changing the very first line. Allowable,
By right.
suggesting that as a change of language, remove non-exempt.
It's not in here. Oh, non-exempt. Okay, okay, so
Some of
under
these things may or may not have,
A, uses allowable by right. What was the phrase non-exempt meant, what did it mean?
that might be why it's suggesting moving it, removing it.
Allowable, okay, we're gonna remove the word non-exempt.
Right, allowable
Yeah.
agricultural.
Remove.
Allowable agritourism uses shall be but not,
Shall include but are not limited to the following, and
but,
then,
Yeah,
get rid of the word are, but are not. Shall include
Yeah,
but not
are not.
limited, are not, okay.
yeah, that's good English,
Okay.
alright.
See,
So double check Christmas tree. Sales. Okay, we'll double check on that one. Whatever I find, we'll put in, okay?
Yep.
If that's according to MDR, then that's what it'd be. Okay, so then, the next part of that was all of these items, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 through 17.
cultural stores.
so we just
There
wanna
are-
move this one, ahead of the other one.
Yes.
Yeah,
And he's looking at some of his notes from something else. to
it's
see
not
if
my
there's-
writing, so that's
Okay,
some other doctor.
not even my writing.
Removed by planning board, numbering removed by planning board,
Agricultural stores.
removed,
Oh, this.
looks like this one.
Just that, I think that just means that, like, that group of numbers isn't the same now that we're kind of
Okay.
moving things around,
Yeah.
the identification.
Yeah, number 13, as, it's the phrase as defined by, we'll just remove that because the numbering system has changed. What else did he?
Sale of agriculturally produced products. Is
Okay, sale, so we're on 14. Sale of agriculturally.
Do you have numbers? I don't, but that's okay. Actually, this old copy has numbers.
Sale of
Are you on
agriculturally.
14?
14, yeah. Produced products, the majority of which are produced on site.
Okay.
and that's circled in 25%.
Right, that's, sale of the,
Sale of
At-
products, produced products where
which are, okay,
minimum of 25% produced on site.
yeah, with, we're gonna remove the majority of,
Yeah,
with the minimum of 25% are
Produced
produced
on
on the site.
greenhouses or nurseries raising flowers, raising of flowers, horticultural products include the sale of products grown on site.
Right,
Consuming agricultural or food products and garden tours.
right.
So, yeah, so greenhouses, nurseries, raising of flowers and horticulture products, wouldn't that contradict the Christmas trees?
No,
It doesn't?
Christmas trees are different than flowers.
It's still horticulture though. Right?
Horticulture, yeah, it's not Christmas trees.
Yeah, so that's just what I'm saying, I thought horticulture covered trees, like of every kind.
Can you Google that?
I'm gonna Google it.
I don't know. But we're trying to be right, so yeah, let's check that out. This one is defining raising of flowers and horticultural products.
While you're doing that, we'll move on to B.
B,
Again,
so,
quite a few notes in here.
right,
Allowable uses by right for agricultural uses exempt under MGLC, subject to the following. Agritourism activities requiring larger lots may be a permitted use, provided the owner has no
may
fewer than 5
be,
acres on one or more contiguous parcels.
may, okay, got it. And then number 2 is open areas suitable for temporary parking of vehicles as required under the zoning bylaws.
Okay, that was a correction because under the zoning bylaws, it needed to be paved.
Ooh,
And they,
parking of vehicles, cross off, as required under section 5 of zoning bylaws.
open areas suitable for temporary parking or a sufficient amount of space for off-street parking to accommodate the parking generated.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
And crossed off as determined by the commissioner or planning board as applicable.
yeah.
So horticulture is the science and art of growing fruits, vegetables, flowers, or ornamental plants.
Yeah, it's not Christmas trees. Christmas trees are their own thing.
Okay, I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, no, it's good to double check. Okay, number 2. Open areas suitable for temporary parking of vehicles.
So the,
Open areas,
Requires a
sufficient amount of space
sufficient amount of
off-street.
space off-street to accommodate the parking generated,
Period.
period.
And
Whoa.
open areas suitable for emergency vehicle access.
Open areas suitable for, as determined by the fire chief, must be included in.
Open areas suitable for emergency vehicles access as determined by,
Fire chief or his designee, and that's fine, subject to the following. That there are following open areas, what's the proper wording? There must be,
must include open
There.
areas.
there must there must okay, open areas, access must be included. Okay, we'll try it there. Open areas suitable for emergency vehicle access must be included as determined by the fire chief or his designee. And how's that sound? Does
Mhm.
that clear it up?
That sounds fun.
Okay. 4.
I think that big word "and" needs to go away.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that just is like the last, and no
Yeah, but it's.
use
it's-
allowed under.
Right,
It's a different bullet point altogether, so.
Yeah.
Right.
So number 4, no use allowed under this section shall have more than by rights, that we're limited limiting it to 350 visitors, customers, or users at the site at any one time per day.
Okay.
Is that reasonable still or not?
Thinking through the words.
Yeah,
So,
shall have
at
more than
any-
50
so-
customers or users at the site at any one time.
yeah, any
Each
one time.
day
Yeah,
instead of per
Each day.
day? I think each day.
Oh.
Is that covered under the by right, or is this, okay.
Think this little part over again. You making,
no.
you, when we're here, take a photograph.
Yeah, well,
You're gonna take a photograph of this page. Or wait until we get to the bottom,
Yeah.
actually. So we can all think about it a little more. Okay.
yeah,
I think
that
clears
covers
it up.
things, yeah, that there, you know, if in a 24-hour period, you can only have 350 people, that's one thing. If you are doing.
At the
let's-
site
let's-
at
let's
any one
stretch this-
time.
Right, let's stretch this out to a wedding venue at a farm.
Mm-hmm.
They could do 3 different services at 3 different times and still be under,
The limit.
Yeah.
which, I think in my mind, the issue is congestion, traffic,
Right.
all those things. So
Mhm.
again, if you're doing it 3 times a day, you know, peaks and valleys, I think is different than, let's say you had a movie theater playing a 59-minute movie, and you're gonna have 350 people every hour, it would still
It,
fit under that, that's one.
oh, yeah.
So,
Hmm.
let's say a Tough Mudder event where it's a timed,
So one of the things that I put in, on the next page to kinda do this is prohibited accessory uses. I was gonna add, another section that says D. No accessory uses either by right or with a special uses permit shall exceed 1,000 persons per day. Now, is that fair, or is that still too high?
actually, I think with a
Per
special
event,
permit, like,
per event, function, operation, or business activity.
I think with a special permit, let's put in the perspective of the flea market.
Yeah.
And realize it's not let's put in perspective
Yeah, I'm
of
trying to
that.
figure out,
They may have up to 5,000 people there on any one given day. So let's say, I guess that used to be a farm, way
Okay,
back whenever.
we
Let's
gotta
say.
figure out what's reasonable for Hubbardston.
Yeah, and let's say they reverted back to
Yeah,
for
but,
lack of a better word, petting zoo.
okay,
And on any given day, got the crowd that they do currently.
Mhm.
Well, by special permit, that would probably be okay.
okay, so,
But
but without special permit, what do we wanna
then,
limit?
yeah, limit,
500 per
well,
day?
1,000, I think that's
Per day is still
by,
reasonable?
yeah,
Is that too many?
I think,
Well,
I
with
think
Rieta, they
it's a
have
safe amount.
parking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they do and they don't, yeah.
yeah.
I
Well,
think
they
that's a
mostly
safe
do,
amount,
don't they?
1,000, that's something.
Well, the whole point that last year, sorry to interrupt,
Yep.
I'm sorry. Last year at that meeting, one of the fellas brought up, well, there's no limit, you could have 10,000 people. And
Yeah.
everyone's like,
Mm.
Now, how do we avoid that by,
Right.
that's one of the reasons I kind of wrote with special use permit, 1,000 per day limit also. Think about,
I
how do
mean,
we do that?
In ways of it being broken down like a movie every hour, it makes sense. You're not gonna have 1,000 people all at once. If you were, that'd be a different story, but
Right,
over the course of a 24-hour period, 1,000 isn't too crazy.
yeah, a
Well,
time-
during regular business hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true, yeah.
How do
Yeah,
we have?
I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
well, again, like, And
Yeah,
Rietta's-
like a
Rietta's the
corn
best-
maze.
Right, and
Right.
Rietta's the
That's
best
open
example of that,
10 hours.
yeah,
Mm.
Say Rieta moved in, became a corn maze.
Right.
yeah.
For 3 months.
And then you have people there a couple hours and then they leave and more people
Right,
But
come.
then-
you'd have a
and then
timed
more-
entry
Yeah,
So
where,
would we ever do we ever look at Hubbardston 10 years from now being able to handle, I'm looking 10 years ahead. I'm not looking 20 'cause that's too far.
right, right.
But 10 years from now, do we think there's, and using Riata Ranch because of the amount of parking they do have currently, would there be an event, assuming it's not that, but some agricultural event that would bring in would we want more than 1,000 per day parking here? In other words,
yeah, and again,
It's not-
Rietta's this end of it, putting 350 people at any one time or 1,000 people per day on High Street
Right.
is a
Mhm.
totally, so again, there,
but somewheres we have to have this upper limit. And,
yeah,
and how do we determine what's best for the town for an
Mhm.
upper limit?
Mhm.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
there's gotta be some kind of upper limit put in.
Let's leave it at 1,000 and if it becomes a sticking point, we revisit it.
Revisit the bylaw. Okay,
Yeah, I think in a 10-year period, it's likely that the town's gonna see grow, it's gonna grow, it's gonna expand, and people are gonna move in, and the city
knock on
encourages.
wood.
We also decided last time that we were going to review this every 5 years, so,
Right.
Yeah,
we can
And that
easily
should be put
review
in
that
at
and
the end.
change that number. Or
Yeah.
put it under a special permit if,
yeah,
if it turned into like I don't wanna say a Davis's farmland thing, but a
Oh,
maze,
yeah, I mean,
like
that
a
would-
maze
that's a good
kind of thing,
example.
yeah. Which,
Um,
we might have the land for at some place in Hubbardston,
yeah,
but,
that makes sense, it's not like we can't make adjustments if anything
yeah, I
comes
think
up.
that would be,
And I think, and again, I guess this is where we go back to, but I think if a Davis Farmland said, we're going to build out a Davis Farmland 2
Right.
on Street X,
right,
then, well, here's our guidelines, you're going to fall into
Special
this
permit.
category, that
Right.
category, et cetera.
Right.
Yeah,
And whether, I mean, again, to be able to invite them to say yes or no versus it's just not an option.
Yeah.
Or to have Hubbardston be surprised, because there's no
Limit.
guideline.
And no guideline at all, yeah.
I'm sure it would make somebody more comfortable coming into the town thinking about building, what can I do, what can't I do,
right,
and having
Or
that.
what will I need to do if I want to
Right.
do X?
Right, yeah. So are we saying the special permit is for 1,000 people plus?
No. So are we okay, we're going back, to the page where it says allowable uses by right,
Section B or,
section B.
Mhm.
And then it's down around, item 3, 1, 2, 3, open areas suitable for emergency vehicle access must be included.
yeah,
And
no
then
use.
number 4 is no use allowed under this section shall have more than 350 visitors, customers, or users at the site at any one time each day.
at any one time.
Yes.
So that means at your peak time, at 2:00 in the afternoon, you have 350 people. Then as the day goes along, people leave, people come,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That makes,
Yeah.
that's to allow,
right,
and this is uses, allowable uses by right.
yes,
That's what this section is saying.
right.
And
I think that would work. Even if you had a big farm and you were doing 3 different presentations throughout the day.
You would
You'll
want.
get your 350 people for the morning presentation, you would get your different set of people coming in for your 1 o'clock show,
And
and
then,
then a
the
different.
5 o'clock dinner or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think any larger,
Anything larger than that, we
Right.
might, yeah,
They need a special permit.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's still fair for everybody.
yeah.
The farm, I think that's fair
The
for the
parking, just
the
the, like-
townspeople, the neighbors.
Yeah,
But they have to have suitable parking to start with.
right,
So that's already in here, so
Right.
that would cover a lot of that, just, and then of course, it's gotta have access for emergencies.
Right.
And that's a secondary review already.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean, like 300, you could do 400 if, like, the difference between 350 and 400 is 50 more cars, but it's not as big as jumping to 1,000.
I will not have an opinion,
Okay,
and I think that's
yeah,
fair on this subject.
maybe 500 would be the max without a special permit? Or you think that's too high?
I think that's too high for
Okay,
the kind of roads we have.
yeah,
I'm thinking about the kind of roads we have.
right,
Around town.
Out-
Right.
Off of Route 62,
Right.
off of Route 68.
The kind of roads could not handle more than 350.
right,
Each day. At a time.
Yes.
At a time.
at a time. So let's like.
So let's kinda keep, so that way you're keeping the and then it's no more, if we had this other thing, no more than 1,000
Right,
total.
total, yeah,
So it kinda still, it stretches it out,
right,
and I'm thinking 8 to 10 hour days,
yeah,
not 2 hours.
right, right,
Okay. And we have to review in our minds after tonight, did we say that?
okay.
Did we say that we're limiting how many, are gonna show in a tight window? Gotta think about that wording. I
Yeah.
think that's where we're kinda haggling. Alright,
So if we think about, there's a couple farms in Barry that do weddings. And a big wedding would be, 200 people invited, which would be really like maybe 300 cars. I don't know how they handle it on those back roads. And that would be an all-day kind of weddings, or almost an all-day kind of
yeah,
affair.
it's usually one per day,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I can check to see.
I was thinking, of the one place that I know of.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, the place that I
Typically
know
only
of, they
have-
have ample parking on their own property,
yeah,
but still, it's the road and the
but their
traveling through
maximum is
town.
not 200, it's less than that.
It is, okay, okay,
They have a smaller venue
Okay.
size than 200.
alright,
And that would be a 2-lane road like you might see anywhere around here as well.
right,
And
exactly,
we're thinking of the same place.
yeah,
Alright, so
yeah, so we'll stay at,
we'll
yeah,
stay at this,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then assume that, if it turns out wrong, we fix it.
right,
Section C says allowable non-exempt agritourism uses requiring larger lots include but are not limited to the following: corn mazes, crop art, trail, tours and trail systems for walking, riding, skiing, and other non-motorized trail uses exceptions include motorized wheelchairs or ADA stuff, pedal assist electric bikes, vehicles necessary for the maintenance and operation of the use, or official vehicles for public safety patrols and rescue. That makes all sense.
Mhm.
Feeding and petting,
Non-exempt was removed.
petting and feeding of farm animals, hay rides, Okay, so under special events, weddings, receptions, private parties for commercial purpose, where the events are held less than 4 times per year and are expected to have a maximum capacity of less than 350 attendees.
Allowable by right.
Allowable by right. Concerts, festivals, time-specific special events, where events are held less than 4 times per year, expected to have a maximum capacity of less than 350 attendees.
That should all
And
be one paragraph to me.
6 and 7.
Okay, so I'm looking at the old one still, so.
So 6
So
and
it's
7
separate.
should be,
Yeah, special events, weddings, receptions, concerts, festivals.
okay,
Should all be,
condense into one paragraph.
yeah,
Makes sense.
Condense into one paragraph, stating, of course, at the end, only once,
yeah,
are held less than 4 times per year,
Mhm.
or are expected to have a maximum capacity of less than 350 attendees. So then it will be numbers, that'll be 6, this will be number 7. On-farm restaurant,
it's kind of.
again, I think there we still have to say it was less than 350 maximum
Yeah.
capacity
So
as
again,
well.
should just be added right into the,
It's not an event, it's an actual restaurant, separate category.
well, then, yeah, it shouldn't go into 4 times a year then.
Right, right, no,
It's
that
a
would.
That's
restaurant.
right,
Right.
right, that's why it's a separate number.
Again,
Okay.
doesn't have a number.
Sorry, yours doesn't
Yep.
have a number, mine has a separate number.
Going back and forth, so, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
we're in agreement, good.
Mhm.
I was gonna suggest that we move the next section that says allowable uses by special permit.
Should that be its own section? 25 point whatever.
Yes, that's what I'm, 25 point question mark, I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But that's also where the permit procedures should come in too,
Right,
cause I suggest that we move this whole permit procedures
the last,
section to back here,
yeah,
permit
Oh, up to the,
Yeah.
the.
procedures,
Yeah.
use provisions,
and then,
permit,
and
special
then,
permit uses,
It
and
would
then
definitely read better.
yes.
permit
Yeah.
procedure.
Instead of, so now, can we go back to, so we will get all the use provisions, the, allowable uses by right, B, allowable agritourism uses requiring larger lots. All that will follow what we just corrected already.
Yeah.
Which was seasonal butchering on the
Yeah.
previous thing. So get that all in there. Then we go to permit procedures. Well, then we can go to allowable uses by special permit,
Yeah.
and then permit procedures.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. This is why I write on just one of them. Okay. Did you have anything in this section on your comments? The following uses require site plan submission and special permit application to, who does it go to?
it says planning board,
And I have to confirm that they still wanna do that. we'll assume that's correct until otherwise, may be granted for a farm of 5 contiguous acres or more. As it's listed in my copy, which you guys I think have a any
Mhm.
event, function, or operation or business that will exceed 350 attendees
At one time.
at one time. Special events, weddings, receptions, or private parties for a commercial purpose where events are held more than 4 times per year or are expected to have a maximum capacity of more than 350 attendees
At one time.
Mhm.
at one time.
Mhm.
Yep. Concerts, festivals, or time-specific special events where events are held more than 4 times per year or are expected to have a maximum capacity of more than 350 attendees at one time. Well, it makes,
We're getting good at this.
well, it,
Well, you have to stay
then it makes
consistent.
sense, right? And we're
Yeah.
restricting clearly
Yeah.
Yeah.
rural campgrounds.
So rural campground, lodging other than bed and breakfast would need special permit.
Right?
Non-motorized activities,
Active
et cetera.
recreational uses, including but not limited to disc golf, zip lines, and mini golf.
seasonal butchering services not raised on premises.
There's one extreme to the other.
Okay.
Disc golf and butchering animals.
Yeah. Because disc golf, zip lines, mini golf are not really farm
Right, no,
related.
no, not at all.
And that makes sense that
Yeah.
they get a permit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, then we would go back to the section on permit procedures.
Okay.
Well, all prohibited uses, all
Hold on,
that's fine.
hold on, we'll get to that. Oh, so then we will put in the next section would be permit procedures and then authority, section A, up here, look at this. I thought we would just start by saying, the planning board shall act as the administering authority for site plan review and special permit application review as may be required under this bylaw. Now, all the other stuff I would remove and ask, except for, proposed use at least 30 days prior to commencing said use should be included.
Okay,
That's fair, right? For
Um,
special permits? Huge ones?
so let's.
But some
I
of this
think we
other
have- I think we
wording,
have two different things here.
we do,
I think we
okay.
have the farm/wedding venue that's going to do 40 weddings a year.
Good for you guys.
And
Good
we
for them.
have the farm/ that's going to have
Corn maze.
6 events a year. You know, that, and do we want each of those to get a special permit each and
Oh,
every
no,
time?
not
Or
necessarily.
once a year?
Well, that can be, that's why some of this other wording's gonna go out. Yeah, so I would say, under permit procedures, comma, authority. The planning board shall act as the administering authority for the site plan review and special permit application review as may be required under this bylaw. The proposed use permit must be filed at least 30 days prior to commencing said use. Now, everything else in here, I I don't know that this is appropriate or not. All these other things.
When it goes on to
So,
talk about the building commissioner?
such applications shall. Such, the application. The application shall be on an application form developed for this purpose. And all application fees shall be paid for by the applicant. Okay, that's fair. The rest of the timing, I don't know about. And your suggestion of, should it be for each event, that doesn't say that here. Or can it be annual?
That, well, or, again, somebody's going to come build a venue. Do they need to, there needs to be a permitting process to just plain build it.
Well, yes, that goes to the
Um,
builder, planning board and the building
And,
department. And if there's septic, then it goes to the Board of Health.
yeah, and
Under the
then
current guidelines of how everything is done.
at the same time, they would be applying for
A special
special permit to have the functions that they're expecting to
Mm-hmm.
have, or before, actually, should they have to reapply every year?
Oh, yes.
Or should it be?
Yes,
Well, if you're planning on
Special
having the same event throughout the year, it makes sense to only apply
permits.
once
Per year?
per year.
Must
If there's gonna be different events
be
with different amount of people, I don't know.
apply.
If that makes sense to apply for different
Well,
things.
do you have a fee for this permit?
There will be.
So is it a fee that is
Reasonable?
financially a hardship or a reasonable fee? Because if it's, you know, like, if it's a financial hardship to apply for your fee every year, then I think that's counterproductive and you might wanna just, if things don't change, like we get quarried all the time for Girl Scouts, for working at the school, whatever. That quarry lasts for 3 years. Obviously we don't pay for that, but if things don't change, then you just sign your paper, fill it out and hand it back in, like it's no big deal. So is that the kind of permit it's gonna be like, oh, yep, look at this, we're gonna do the same things next year, initial here, initial
It
here, and there you go.
should be, because of the way, the Board of Health, retail businesses, liquor licenses and all the rest go.
Are they yearly?
Yeah, they're yearly for each
Okay.
calendar year.
Okay,
So special must be applied for and.
so then I guess it would fit
So I
in
would
that
put in
category.
special permits must be applied for each calendar year.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
but
that-
it could be a blanket permit, it wouldn't have to be a blanket permit for the year of what you think might happen. What you think might be happening on your property.
Well, your business plan,
Or, right,
your
your
mental business plan even
right.
is, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Right,
And so therefore,
If an annual special permit is issued,
must be renewed annually.
yeah, I'm trying to think if you double what you put in your permit,
right,
that is gonna,
well, that's.
you're gonna get red flagged.
Yes, as you should, because
If
you
an annual special
weren't forthcoming in your application process.
permit is issued, how do we put what would be significant changes?
I guess you'd have to get into like the number of cars coming, the number of people
Yeah, but-
attending.
But we're on the upper limit now. We're talking the
Special
350 or more.
Okay,
We're talking about, So, I mean, is there upper limit?
Right. Is
Is
there something that we wouldn't, we would say no to?
3,000 people a day, or?
Yeah,
So again, I mean, well, Stone Cow would be a good example. You know,
Right.
They used to have their events that were a few hundred people,
yeah,
quite a few hundred people.
Now
And then they
it's-
had
yeah.
certain events where it's quite a few thousand people.
right,
I think that's a whole separate category
yeah,
beyond,
right,
maybe not, maybe, you know, if it's gonna be above this, you have to put in what your expectations are. We're going to do a Tough Mudder event 4 times a year.
right, right,
And it's going to draw
this many people.
this many people.
Right.
Yeah, we might be wrong,
Right.
you
But
know.
it kinda, like, the whole town needs to know that, just like the whole town of Barry does, so that the restaurants know what kind of crowds they're gonna get. Like,
Mhm.
that affects more than just
But as far as the
Stone Cow.
permit, but as
Yeah.
far as the permitting
Right.
process.
Right.
I think 2 levels, either by right or you need a special permit. Special permit may be, well, we're going to expect 10,000 people, Board of Health is going to say, building
right.
building commissioner is going to say,
Right.
fire department's gonna say,
Right.
and they're gonna put expectations, let's not call restrictions,
No,
expectations
layers, right.
on the owner, that's promoting that event.
Yeah.
So special permit, I think, covers that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And then-
so special permits must be applied for each calendar year. If an annual special permit is has been issued, if an annual special permit issued has any changes in frequency and attendance, a new review must be done.
Be submitted.
A new
Yeah, I if,
review,
Or can we just say that it can be reviewed at any time?
a new review plan must be submitted.
So in the application, you'd be required to explain what you expect to happen in your special permit, like what, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
That
and
makes sense.
again, thinking this through, so Joe's going to do 4 chicken barbecues a year.
Right.
And expects to have 370 people each time.
Mm-hmm.
Board of Health is going to say X, fire department is going to say Y, and so on. If Joe all of a sudden, turns into Wright's Chicken Farm, Board of Health has already gotten involved, I think, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
If they've gone from 4 350 people events to open every Sunday, and there's 1,000 people, I think you've probably been notified or figured that, or somehow Board of Health has been notified. Somehow do we need to explain how that happens in this, or?
I think if we say, if an annual special permit has been issued, any changes in frequency and attendance requires a new review plan. A new review plan requires submission. Okay, requires submission of a new review plan. New plan,
New special permit,
a new special, thank you, permit
application.
application. We're gonna restrict them enough that if you plan
Right.
6 events and you have
One every weekend.
one every weekend,
Yes.
you gotta get a new permit,
Yes,
cause you're not,
exactly.
you're
'Cause you're not, yeah,
that's, so
that's
that,
above and beyond what you had
What-
originally said.
yeah, and that's a good restriction.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, if an annual special permit has been issued, has any changes in frequency and attendance. A that this requires submission of a new special permit application.
Yeah.
Okay, finally said it.
Break down.
That's very good. That seems very fair.
All right.
Yes, so
That,
very fair
yeah,
ask,
and
yeah.
then, all right.
So the rest of this whole paragraph, are we getting rid of this?
At this time,
Okay.
yes.
Because
About
it's
who
kind of-
does what, it's very specific to who does what.
Yes, yes,
I think if we have I think the idea of this bylaw is to develop an overall procedure.
yes.
And then we can put in a statement here, all departments, all town departments, that need, that already have guidelines, right, requirements,
Mhm.
requirements. Affecting the approval of the special permit without saying the
Yeah,
building
who-
guy, this
right,
guy, this
right,
guy.
right.
Must be met.
Special permit, thank you, must be met. That way, police, fire, board of health,
Right,
the ag commission, whatever it might be,
yeah,
you know, planning board, zoning. Without being so specific in this little section under authority.
right,
Okay,
that sounds good.
then we would, so we have the authority and how it's in general gonna be handled. And then,
I might need to change some numbering,
oh, heck of a lot of
Yeah.
numbering.
so.
On this last section under authority, the applicant shall be responsible for obtaining any and all other necessary and applicable federal, state, and local permits and or licenses as may be required prior to issuance of any approval or permit
Mhm.
required under this bylaw. We will include this.
Yep, yeah, that sounds fine.
Alright. What saying this way allows each board to follow their own rules they already have in place
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
without burdening one or the other.
right,
So,
Now,
so the fee,
well, thinking this through again,
yep, go ahead,
Um,
go ahead. Let's work on this.
taking for example, the cannabis
Mm-hmm.
facilities needed to have a open hearing, get the exact terminology. Town was invited to come and ask questions, so let's say, again, Joe's Ant Farm is going to have 4 events a year.
Mhm.
That's gonna be 360 people. Does he need to come in front of the town and explain what he's doing? Joe's Ant Farm is going to do weddings, he's gonna marry his aunt. Couldn't resist. And
How cute.
he's gonna do that every weekend with 360 people.
Mm.
Does he need to go in front of the town and explain what he's doing?
Well, yes, it's a special permit, cause he's over the limit.
Special permit, yes, but in
So
that
special permits
process-
would have to go through a town meeting,
No,
just all of the people, all of the boards?
Or maybe go in front of the town and explain if it's requested, I mean, if
So I-
people are
yeah,
upset
I-
about it or have questions.
Right, I don't recall or remember whether the, again, open meeting's not the right word, but, the informational meeting
Mhm.
was specific to Massachusetts and cannabis operations going into any town.
Oh,
or
that could have
whether-
been, yeah.
Or whether, you know, and again, let's say, you know, trying to just think as, a property, again, using, you know, Rieta Ranch as
Right.
best example. If they're going to turn that into
Davis's
the
farmland.
Davis farmland, should they have a informational meeting with the town as part of this process?
That's a really good question, like, do townspeople get a say in, we don't want that in our town? Or we don't want that much traffic, or,
That's a good
You know,
question,
Or are
yeah.
we just gonna say,
We
okay,
just-
the town
we don't
decided that we
want-
can do this here?
right, but, I mean, it seems like we get a say in, we don't want chain businesses in, we don't
Mm.
want this, we don't want that, so maybe, yeah, maybe.
We don't want lights.
McDonald's,
We don't want lights, we don't
Right.
have blinking yellows, right?
Right.
Yeah.
we don't want Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, and the petting zoo that has a Ferris wheel.
Well, that would be
Um,
way cool, I would want that.
Yeah, but-
the petty.
But if Rieta goes.
That's on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, there you go.
We went to a place in Arizona, you had a hand pedal thing with this big, took the little bucket of food up to the goats.
Get
in this
out.
tower, bicycle pedals, and the goats were up there and
Yeah,
dumped
that's
it in.
fun. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
See
I don't
that
know, I
driving
don't
down
know.
68?
Right? Get a lot, yeah.
They fed ostriches there too, that was amazing.
Well, yeah,
So,
so if
but-
Rieta
But-
goes from being Rieta to Davis farmland, that's still agriculture, it's not that it's gonna be.
So that would be agriculture, so let's say, you know,
it's
simple
still
numbers, let's say we
huge.
decided, okay, it's $100 permit a year. Let's,
Right.
just a simple number, and next week, construction starts on the animal pens
Right.
that are going to cover that whole property, and it's going to be, and there's,
Smells and
now
noises
is,
and all of that, that
do
goes
we
along
want
with
the
that.
planning board and the chief of police and board of health to make the decisions for the town, that that's okay? Or do we want, if it's something of a certain size,
Right.
do we want a,
Like a town meeting or-
informational,
Yeah.
There should be a
Hearing.
public hearing.
Yeah,
public
that's what they're
hearing.
called.
Public informational hearing
Yeah.
Public
for anything
hearing.
above, and maybe
Yeah.
the $100 permit's fine.
Right.
But for some
Or-
type of a,
Special permits. We're gonna have to ask somebody about this.
yeah,
We have like a solicitor, oh, don't we, about wording and that kind of stuff?
that's how we got here.
Public
That was
hearing
it.
for special permits with, you have to give 45-day notice. I think it's
Okay.
right,
Um,
30, 45?
No idea. So again, and maybe that's something that planning board has, or
Such
Somebody has the answer to that.
has the,
and frequency.
choice, for
Yeah,
lack,
yeah.
of saying this needs to have a informational public hearing.
Okay, ask planning board first.
It might be part of, the application may, approval process may include a public hearing.
Yeah.
I need another piece of paper there.
is so on the line for me. It's the,
Yeah.
everyone should have a say in the town, but it's also your property, so I'm like,
Right.
But
rant.
again,
Right.
but is Joe, of Joe's ant farm with 5.2 acres going to make it into Davis Farmland?
Right.
And, so so yes, it's your, and so person X buys the property, happens to be 60 acres, and is planning to do, yes, it's still his property or their property, but again, it's definitely a different level, and definitely I think
Mhm.
something that, at that point, the town needs to say, we have questions. The
Mm.
townsfolk need to say, we have questions, and
Okay, so we still need to, I'll ask the planning board,
yeah,
here's the direction we're going,
Mm-hmm.
here's how we wanna keep it, under control, if you
Mhm.
will. That's reasonable,
Right.
and, and see what they say. I
Yeah.
made myself some notes, as you can see, lots of notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
you still don't have the red pen.
I have a red pen if
It's
somebody
okay,
wants
I'll
I
it.
fix
had
it.
one, I left it.
Alright, so the last, we're going to this last page after we had, allowable uses by special permit. Then we're gonna do permit procedures, which we were working on, and authority. Procedures and authority.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that's on this page next
Prohibited.
is prohibited accessory uses.
Mm-hmm.
Following uses are strictly prohibited as they have been found to have unsuitable environmental impacts and are not consistent with the purpose of this bylaw, such as, we don't wanna necessarily limit it to just these three things, okay?
Yeah,
Mhm.
for example,
Such as slaughterhouse, fur-bearing animal farms, commercial composting or waste disposal.
Such as and not limited to.
Yeah, and not limited to, such as and not limited to, cause there's probably more examples. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Alright, then we'll have like another whole thing that says, I don't know how to number it. No accessory uses, which we talked about before, but we'll put it here, I think. No accessory uses either by right or with a special uses permit shall exceed 1,000 persons per day per event, function, operation, or business activity. We're gonna limit it. If you have a limit, then there's no 10,000 person mutters with
Right.
parking
Right.
or,
Yeah.
or, Woodstock type concerts
Right.
in the mud.
Oh, that's what's happening in my hometown, like, these concerts happen and the whole town goes crazy, and you can, my mother lives 5 miles from the center of town, and you can hear the music nonstop for the entire weekend.
So that's why,
Like 24-hour music. It's
Wow.
ridiculous. Yeah, yeah,
so this will limit,
yeah,
now,
like it's a thing.
this is all associated with agritourism.
Right,
All other situations,
Right.
like, that's
They're
not
on their own.
us.
right, exactly.
That goes, but this is agritourism.
Yeah.
Then appeals, I'm not sure if this is still correct. I have question marks by it, if you read this section. I don't know who gets to
Right,
do
yeah.
the appealing.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
enforcement shall be by, I was gonna say by the department that finds a violation. condition of the special permit. For example, they don't have adequate off-street parking.
Right,
Police can shut them down,
yep,
Mhm.
but how do we say when they can shut them down? So that's.
right, right,
But that gets into what you would call SOP, standards of operation.
and that might, the police might already have that.
Right.
Their own.
So many
Board of
cars,
Health,
whatever, yeah,
If they don't pass
right,
because they don't have enough porta potties.
right, right,
Then
you can, yeah,
Yeah.
there's there's, so
Right.
I think that enforcement of this bylaw and its conditions shall be by the department that finds a
Yes.
violation of
I
this
no, I
agree.
like that idea,
special permit.
yeah,
Yep.
Not just this guy that's already in here.
right,
That broadens the authority,
Yeah,
yeah,
as it should be,
yes,
I think.
I agree.
No,
Because
definitely.
if it's a parking thing,
It
as it
shouldn't be
was.
your concern at Board of Health.
No,
Right,
it's
right,
yeah,
right.
and if it's a Board of Health, it's not
yeah,
necessarily
Fire
the
department.
planning
Mhm.
board.
right,
Yeah.
So
right.
that's why I think that makes
No,
more sense.
definitely, that does make,
Okay, so now the real issue that's in front of us is, I don't think we're gonna get this on for this year's town meeting.
okay,
We're not ready. Technically, once we do this, it would be wise for us to have a public hearing.
okay,
And any warrants, this would have to go on the warrant,
okay,
is due April 1st or 2nd,
Yes.
something like
Alright.
that. But if we have a special town meeting in the fall again, we could have it ready for that.
okay,
And this could be,
So, yeah, let's say we have this written up for next meeting,
mhm,
we can go through, review it. Now, what it did last time from the special committee, that's when it went to the town lawyer and the outside
advisor,
consultant.
they had
Yeah.
consultant, yes, we
And
should.
then came back different than what was written.
okay, okay.
So, and I think we need to have a finished document,
Yes,
and then probably needs to go through the same procedure,
yes, the
but then we need to
consultant.
review it again.
Right,
Right.
Have the consultant meet
Yeah.
with us or something,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
review it on his own.
right,
And therefore, I am suggesting that if we have a fall meeting again, like
Mhm.
we did this past,
Yeah,
That'll give
yeah.
us the time. that
it'll
we
give
need
us the
to-
time to finish this up.
yeah,
Yeah.
And still won't be 3 years from now, it'll still be timely.
yeah.
right, yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, I
Good
feel good
progress.
about it,
Yeah.
the way we
it's,
have it
it's coming,
currently.
yeah.
it's
No, I
coming
But again,
together.
I think we did some,
I think we felt
made
good about it
progress.
previously, and
Right.
it changed,
Yeah,
so,
and we're just trying, the whole idea is to say agriculture is still important, but so is our town.
Yes,
And give equal balance to both to do this. And make it fair.
yeah.
yeah, I think we,
I'm not sure yet who the application should go into first. I'm thinking the planning board, but I'm not sure. We'll have to check with a few of those things.
mhm,
Yeah.
How much it should be. Most permits for, for example, residential kitchen and Board of
yeah,
the permit is, plus an annual inspection comes to like, a little over $100 combined.
right,
So, I mean, now all of that's fair.
yeah, yeah,
And then if you're talking a special permit, it might need to be a little more if more people are involved.
right, and it depends on
It
it,
could be that
Yeah.
it's a basic fee plus $10 for every board that has to review it, or something, I don't know.
right,
Yep.
right,
Because every board has to pay somebody
yes,
to handle the paperwork. There's a clerk, there's someone that has to be paid.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the fair way to do it, you know? Or $15, whatever, you
Yeah.
know. $18, cause that's what they get paid, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
$20, something like that, to each department, so it could run up to a bigger fee, but if you're going big,
Right,
that's still fair.
Yeah.
yes.
And even if, you know, yeah, I mean,
So,
I think that's,
the other thing that might be is,
Doesn't really get into penalties, like if you say, you know, oh, I'm only gonna have under 350 people, and you have 1,000 people.
yeah, penalty is,
I was gonna say there's no penalty in there,
penalties
just crossed my mind.
is, and then we'll define that, that's
Okay.
another one.
Yeah.
I also think, special permits. And it comes kinda under the federal, state and guidelines, but special permits must have proper insurance,
Oh, yes, yeah,
insurance. Proof of
Mm.
proper
yeah.
proof of paid proper insurance.
Yeah, nope, definitely. Good.
Okay. Gee, we'll turn into agricultural lawyers yet.
I don't want that job.
No, heck no. Just getting it organized.
Yeah, no, I think we're. you
We're
did
on the
pretty
right
okay.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it feels like it, yeah.
Unexpected subjects?
I have talked to a few people to see if they're interested in joining our committee. I thought maybe one of them would show up tonight and they didn't, so I'll just keep asking.
There's a lady who lives on, Ragged Hill Road.
Mm-hmm.
She's also a nurse. She, has animals and,
Okay.
has applied for her farm DBA. She had to work today.
Okay.
So if we don't have meetings on Tuesdays, she can
Yeah.
attend.
Tuesday
she's
just worked
interested.
for me this week because I
Yeah.
have to
And
take my
that's
mom
okay,
tomorrow.
but that's fine, no
So, but we can
worries.
go back to Wednesdays or whatever days we
You know, part of
get.
the time.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
don't meet every month, so
No,
it's.
right.
So,
I just,
okay.
when she set up her appointment and she asked me to
Absolutely.
come, you know, I said, of
That's
course, and then I
it's
looked
just
in
a
and
crazy week.
yeah, it's, yeah. Gonna-
So,
This
yeah.
tonight, something else tomorrow night, and 3 things Thursday night.
There you
Yes,
go,
yes.
yeah, so
Can't
thank
be
you
at
for
all.
doing that. So
So-
when do we wanna schedule?
Oh, I didn't bring a calendar.
Let's see, we're looking at, April 17th is a Thursday. Or
Oh.
16th is Wednesday,
Can we go the next week?
and the week afterwards looks good too.
Yeah,
The 24th?
Cause that Wednesday of that week, Thursday of that week, yeah, that.
You're busy?
Okay.
Baby shower on Sunday, go
Oh.
back, my sister's birthday, 60th birthday, there's way too much that
Okay.
week. So, Wednesday,
Wednesday the 23rd?
23rd, or Thursday, the 24th.
Yep.
24th would be better
Okay,
for me anyways.
alright,
matter.
let's do that, we'll put
Okay.
it in, and if life changes, 6:30 still okay?
6:30 works for me on
Yeah.
a Thursday, cause then I can come right over from work.
Okay,
Thank you.
Rather than a farm day at the school,
Yeah,
perhaps, this year, we could do a farm day where people come around on a Sunday or something, again, and go to various farms
oh, yeah,
that we had done other years.
Rutland, not Rutland. Is it
We've had it in the past.
Have we?
Yeah, yep.
Yes, several times.
Yeah, it's called something,
Because I've been
right? Farm
hearing
Day.
a number of comments, actually on public radio, that, kids don't see the farms.
Yeah.
They still say, well, why do we need farms? Just buy the food
Oh.
at the grocery store.
And they don't know,
And they
Okay.
don't.
they don't make it at the grocery store.
So
That's sad for Hubbardson people to say.
not necessarily Hubbardston, but
No,
in
but in
general,
general, yeah.
and put me back onto the idea of maybe we should consider
Yeah,
visit the farm day again.
yeah,
So just put that on your radar as unexpected subject, new
yeah,
activity.
Yeah.
that would take a little bit of planning, for sure.
It does.
But I would love to help do that or participate in that or something, yeah. And then I know, when my girls were little, we did one in Princeton, and each little farm had a little simple child activity that they did, which doesn't have to happen, but it was like, you know, in one you took a little bunch of fleece with you and to, you know, to put
Right.
out, and then
And if we're at.
the next one you built a little something, and,
Right,
yeah.
if we're at, Bob and Stephanie's horse farm,
Yeah,
you could maybe, or some other places.
Right.
You could join in another farm.
Yes.
With your
yes,
honeybee operation.
right,
Or
Yeah.
at your place.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
You know,
help
at
out
your
anywhere
place,
or-
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah,
In previous times, we had 5 locations.
I think so, yeah.
In general, we had 5 locations.
okay,
It was on a Sunday from like 12 to
yeah,
4:30. So people would drive from A to B to C,
yeah,
you know, whichever
Yeah.
order they wanted to.
right, and you
And
just
so-
provide a little map, and you just,
Yes,
yeah,
and a
yeah.
description.
yeah, yeah, I like that idea.
For a vegetable farm, to really do it right, you wanna do it in July
Okay,
to have,
Which would be summer break for kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that when it has happened before, or?
We have done it May, June,
Yeah, I
late
think we
May,
did
early
before the
June.
end of school.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
oh, when we would go to, for
Oh, that's
school
right.
day, when we went to school,
yeah.
it was the end of
The
the
school
school year,
year.
so sometime in June, but.
So maybe we can we do it by then?
I mean, we,
Well, what about the beginning of the school year? That'd be like end of August? Is that too late in the season?
Well, then, by then, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
there's a lot of fall activities
Yeah.
for kids.
True, yeah.
and, you can't, it's
I don't know, when does school end this year?
June 23rd, I think I heard, or the 22nd.
Oh.
But, I mean, if we just wanna do, I can talk to the school, I have to leave the house at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning, but tomorrow's Wednesday, Thursday, I can go and talk to the secretary at the school and see if they even are starting to think about they always look for things for the kids to do those last few weeks of school,
Mm.
because they're done,
So you're,
they're done.
so,
Everybody's done.
So, you know, like, Farm Day worked out wonderfly because the kids were excited to be outside. You know, we were able to squeeze it in from 9 to 12, it didn't last all day. They loved it, they loved everything about it. So if we wanted to do that again, we
Yeah,
would just
see
get,
how
have to
receptive they
get
are.
permission from,
see
you
how
know,
receptive they
yes,
are to
yeah.
that, cause that is the other alternative.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really get the kids to
right, it doesn't,
farms.
exactly, right,
And a visit the farm day gets the parents
Yes.
too,
yes, yeah,
as well. So
yeah.
Yeah.
inquire, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with inquiring, I
But
think
maybe we do
should.
that again this year, and then next year we plan, like, get farmers that are interested in having people tromp through their property.
Well,
Well, they
We
don't.
could do
It's
that for
just-
July.
Yeah,
And that, it, it's not July 12th.
Correct,
yeah,
yeah.
But, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, you know,
Okay.
not 4th of July weekend.
right, right,
But if we're doing a Sunday, basically any other Sunday in July, yeah, you've got veggies by then.
Yeah. A lot more than I will
Than you would,
in-
yeah.
right, in June,
in
yeah.
June.
You know, and, yeah.
So there's, we'll have to
Yeah.
think on it,
Yeah,
we'll think on it,
We'd
a
have,
di-
yeah, have to try to think how many.
totally different way to do this is when you have your market day at your farm, that we expand that into the visit the farm day weekend,
Yep,
instead of just visit the market at your farm.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's another option.
that's first weekend in May.
How about late season?
Um,
do you have one in
Labor Day
the fall?
weekend.
Yeah,
That's the other option.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thought too.
yeah, that would be fun too.
That wouldn't hurt you,
No,
and it might expand the knowledge of where the
Mhm.
farms are in town. I don't know, just
We-
think on
we
it,
need
if that's
to-
good or bad for you or not.
well,
I don't wanna hurt
We need to
you.
think who would be involved if we had a farm day in town.
Like what farms could
What
we go
farms?
visit? Yeah, we would
Yeah.
have to ask people if they would,
Oh, I know.
like the garden club, you know, came around and said, would you wanna be part of the garden tour? We would
The
have to ask
Historical
people,
Society,
yeah,
yes.
Right, yeah.
and we would
Yeah,
have to
so-
ask people if they wanted to be part of that.
You know, going back 15 years ago, we
Mhm.
had a list of all the farms in town, or people
Right.
that, farms and, you know, whether it was hobby farm or not.
Right,
Kind of a list of people who had animals to some degree. that-
Right.
That we really don't have in town. Lots changed in 15 years.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
Couple have retired,
a couple have retired and
yeah.
a couple are thinking about it.
No, but we could,
but-
you know, we could ask, we could get the,
I think
We
though,
could ask.
if the school says yes, let's go that route this year, like
Okay.
you suggested, and we'll look at this option then for calendar year 2026.
Sure.
How about that?
yeah, cause that would get people, yeah, I think yes, I like that,
So,
yeah.
let's go that route then
Yes.
for this year. Cause it's a
Alright.
little easier having had planned the, farm day at the school.
Oh, yeah, that's very
W-
easy,
it's
I
been
put
done,
together,
what,
yeah.
This past year was what, the fourth time? Or
We didn't do
third?
one
No,
for
third because we had to.
25.
Yeah.
No, this is 25. We didn't do one in 24, but we did one in 23, and then we did it
22,
before 22, and then we did it before COVID.
19,
Yeah,
and so we've had at least
Yeah.
3.
yeah, and the kids love it. They love to just be outside. You know, they ran with the horses. Like they just had a blast. They had a blast. So yeah, if it fits into the school schedule, I would be happy to.
I think it's a little
do
bit
that.
easier to do right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, with
we'll
short
s-
notice.
I mean,
Yeah.
for this year,
Yeah.
for the plans for the next 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, what
I
time
like
is
it.
it? Do we want to
Yes.
adjourn now?
Anybody
Yeah.
want to adjourn?
Yes.
I agree to adjourn.
Let's
All in
adjourn.
favor?
8:07.
Okay, meeting adjourned.